workshop, so it's not like it's a meeting, so. This is my stuff? No, this is. Exactly what this is. 2 o'clock. What is this?
No, you can just come in. Well, you'll have to. Paul, you're so funny.
Oh, that's payroll. I'll do that later.
Yeah, that's payroll. Alright, so this goes with all of this, which I have to stay up together.
Is this for me or is this for?
She found that, I guess.
Oh.
And that's the gist I get of that conversation. Oh, this was 2 sides on the appeals board, sorry. I obviously wasn't paying attention.
2 o'clock.
Wait a minute.
We're already running. Don't worry about it. It's a workshop. Oh, just relax.
Yeah, Jordan's still doing his copies, so this is kind of a...
I just turned the thing on so that we're live, but it's a workshop. It's not formal. It's just...
Okay, so this is current year, last year. Okay. CEO. Current year. Last year. Okay. That's all I have so far. I gotta get some more papers.
You don't have enough paper?
Well, no paper. No, nothing's perfect. I'm glad you moved your bucket there. I almost fell in it. I did. I almost took a head. I'm like, oh! Okay.
So I'm working down the list that you guys want to do.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
Just kind of work down what's due up first. Just work our way down
I
to
don't
do
think
whatever's
we don't
ours.
have.
So I mean, ACO is kind of Mary's, but she has never done it. So I scheduled to be with her at 4, but that was because I forgot we were already meeting. So we may still be here at 4. I don't know.
Anna, what is it? How could you forget?
Well, no, that's why I called her.
Paul had it in his book.
I called her this morning.
I said to them, I go, Paul's got it. He wrote it down. I saw him, and then I made him get the book out, and he did write it down. Didn't you, Paul?
But you still forgot, though, didn't you?
Yes, but we still had it in the book. Okay. All right.
Well, I thought we did this coming Wednesday, but that's right. I forgot.
We had a conversation.
We're trying to get a jump.
Well, I said I'll be back. I'm available. So yeah.
Right.
Okay, so ACO we don't have.
So I don't have that. I mean, I've done it here. I mean, I don't. I just wanted Mary to present it to the budget committee because they're going to have questions that she's going to be able to answer. I don't know a lot of what she does. Mm-hmm. But did you guys see it or you don't have it at all?
Mm-mm.
I mean, wages year to date, she's only at like 2,400, but it was 77. But it all depends upon what she gets called for.
Well, not only that, she was sick out for a long time.
And she was sick,
so
right?
We can't rarely go by that one.
And the previous year, she actually used about 7,100.
Okay.
So I'm thinking 7,700 is fine because it kind of depends on what's.
It does.
I mean, it really can vary.
Is that what she had? 77 last year.
She had 7,700 last year, so I'm just keeping that the same.
Yep.
Travel last year she used 3,000, 29.45. This year budgeted for 35, but she hasn't even used 1,000 yet.
But yeah.
So I mean, I'm thinking maybe drop it to 3,000 instead of 35.
Yep. That's good, don't you think? Yeah.
You know, keeping training at 200. That's what it was last year. That's what it was budgeted for. She had previously used 184.
Yeah. Because I think they have one class.
Right.
Usually in
I think that's in the
Bangor or
spring.
something.
I think it's in the spring.
Yeah.
So she hasn't used it yet. Payroll taxes, that's just a function of that. So that's nothing. 150 for supplies. She hasn't used anything. She barely used anything before, but you don't know. So I mean.
You don't know. I agree.
720 for the stipend. Because again, she gets a fixed stipend. This the phone stipend.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm like, what's that? Yeah. Okay.
And then outside services, again, she used 8,700 in 2016. Year to date, only about 2,000.
Have we not paid them? Isn't that
no? But I mean, it all depends on how many dogs have to go to the shelter or whatever. It really is. It can vary. So I'm saying keep it the same.
Okay. Yep.
Because it's and then 70 for dues.
Yep.
That's it. I mean,
that works.
It's a pretty simple.
It is.
So I mean, I'll do it today when her hopefully but that
works.
So, it was pretty simple. And the next one is dispatch.
Which.
So that's fairly simple, right?
Working on that one, we got the dispatch. Yeah, we don't know what that is.
Give us the.
I don't know if that's one he was working on because he was trying to.
Let's see.
This is
a CP.
I don't know. I don't think we have that one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep. Okay.
Okay, so this is
He's gonna make copies and bring it in.
This is dispatch agreement. That's for 5 years. Okay.
So this is where am I? Oh, here.
So this is.
So I mean, it kind of is what it is, right? So what's the?
And it's good for 5 years. So it ends in 19. So. We have CMP in here.
5 years commencing 14th, ending. Okay. And there's a fixed cost there is.
Well, there is, but Okay, so this agreement,
782 per capita on a population of 6031, which equates to that. Quarterly installments. Shall be adjusted by the previous calendar year's CPIW. 12-month average January through December. So, Alright, hopefully I can bring this over here. So I can do several things at the same time. That's yours. Watch out, we got all sorts of cables and everything else. So don't trip Paul. Because I want to get.
They're all right in there. You just have to sort them out.
Yep, that's fine.
thank you, sir.
Do you have that thing I had you guys sign?
For the truck?
Yep.
I don't know if he signed it. Did you sign the truck
I
though?
haven't signed the thing yet.
For the
Those
truck.
folders right there, if that's what you're looking for. What am I signing?
This is for the one ton.
The one time, yeah.
Which we're getting tomorrow, right?
If I can get it to him today, he might be able to pick it up today, which would be nice because there's supposed to be a storm tomorrow.
Okay.
That's payroll. We can leave that over there.
Thank you, Jordan.
Yeah, I'm going to lunch. I'll be back in a little bit.
CPI. This is so CPI. Oh, can't do that. Shoot. That's going to be through this December.
Okay, so
Yeah.
can I just see your animal control? And now I have the paper. I could write it in what we talked about, if you don't mind. Thank you. I'm gonna just write that here. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, so we won't get,
No, we won't. But that's all right. I mean, we can kind of guesstimate probably. What are we paying this year?
let's see. Because if I remember correctly, transfer station uses something similar.
12,290.96 is what we paid.
So CPIW is CPI for urban wage earners and clerical workers. That's what W stands for.
Oh, okay.
Um,
So last year it went up.
so
The repeater thing is always the same, the towel rental is the same. One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 12.
Alright, so.
90. So that's. Alright, so the 390, that's what that's gonna be.
So CPIU. Yeah, interestingly enough, they talk about CPI, but they don't say what location.
Yeah. So the CPI, as of the end of October, it increased 2.1% over the last 12 months. Okay. So you think that's a good number to go with?
I mean, that was as of October, so that's, you know.
So.
I mean, we can adjust it once we get there.
Yeah.
You know,
But
after the first of the year, we'll have to adjust it again, but.
Yeah.
It can give us an idea.
I mean, the repeater thing stays
you have it
at
there.
has at 3,900.
Yeah, let me just pull out.
I mean, that's what it's been for years, the
Dispatch.
tower rental,
Dispatch.
and it's been that for,
So dispatch, we are, right side, so the. So the 49,162 is what we're getting paid, is what we're charging now? Right?
yes.
So 49,162.
And the payment, you know,
2.1.
yeah, that's probably pretty close too, yeah.
That's 1,032. So
Okay.
it's, so that goes up to 50,194.
Okay, so we wanna put it at that, or,
Yeah, for right now.
okay. And like I said, the tower rental's been
Revisit.
$325 for,
Revisit
yeah,
January 15 or thereabouts.
Yep.
And the tower, is that in here as well?
yeah, well, that's what we've been paying $325 a month.
Is that in this contract?
I don't know if that's in here, but that's what we pay. That's what we've paid forever. I don't know if it says the tower rental. Location, I don't know where that comes from, but that's what we've always paid. I don't think it's in there.
I don't think it is in this thing.
No, but that's what we pay. I don't know if that's just what we've paid for years, I think.
Right. And actual was 3,900 this past.
And it was last year too, and I think the year before it was.
That's Southern Maine. Who is that Southern Maine that we do?
I don't know.
That a month, so then we have tower rental.
Then we have the annual operations, is that in there too?
And that's York County.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that stays the same.
Well,
We've only had a 16, 17.
yep.
So I'll have to ask Jordan if we have contracts or what we have for those. I'd just like to have them if we have them.
Yep.
Have a copy of them.
We can put 4,200 for now.
But yeah,
It got paid last year in February, so we can probably get a
so
firmer number.
3,900 and 4,200.
Yeah, we'll just put those there.
Yep.
And then we put 50,194.
50.
50.
50.
Yeah.
194.
Okay.
You see that, Paul?
Yeah.
You on the same page with us?
Same page, Paul.
Right. But let's see. Contract on the repeaters and contract on the towers for the repeaters. We'd like to see how we know that. Okay, that's fine. Dispatch. Okay.
Contingency.
Should be fine with that. Where's my little? So that's dispatch. Contingency. I don't see why we wouldn't do the same amount, 50, right? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
we gotta have it enough to offset a bad winter, right? I mean,
I agree. You agree, Paul?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, if we don't use it, I just, you don't know if we're gonna have a bad winter and
Or who
stuff
knows?
hits the fan,
Something
you know?
could happen. Yeah. No, I agree.
You know, we're actually gonna use some of it this year because of codes, because we had to hire and
Well,
that stuff happens.
Yep.
So
It does.
I think that's easy. Alright,
so that's staying the same?
yeah, 50.
Yeah,
let's
I
do
think
the same.
that's good. Don't you think? Well, you don't know.
Leave it,
Yeah, we kinda have
it's not
to.
gonna be wasted.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not, it basically just goes right back into the general fund if we don't use it, so it's not.
mhm.
Okay, snow spray, we have, he gave us that, right?
Yes, and it's in the contract what we have to pay.
Where is that? That's over here somewhere.
And that contract's good till
Yeah,
what,
right.
18, I think it said?
Central Maine,
I think it was 18. Where is that? Oh, right here.
from 14 to 18.
And it says what the amount is in there, so.
Let's see, this.
22,199.
Each year, even though work will be performed the other year, state in agreement.
Mhm.
22,199.
Yep.
For the 4-year period, this agreement is in effect. And
I don't know if they bill us or. We'll have to ask them that.
yeah, I'm just trying to understand.
Yeah. Mhm.
So it's July of 14 through July of 18 then?
Yep,
Is that how
that's
you
what it
read
said, yep. And then, yep.
But I mean, they do this in the summer, correct?
Yes. We usually, someone will let us know that somebody's out there. They'll ask. Yep, so 4 years, so the 22,199, I just got a note here to ask him. Do they usually
So is that
bill?
basically the summer of 18? I mean, when do we normally,
When do we,
so I guess it would be that, because
Yeah.
we probably paid the first one in the,
we pay, well, I think it says it's supposed to be paid
it gets paid in May.
May, but
But
I
this
don't know
agreement
if
didn't
they-
start until July, until the
Yeah.
end of July of 14, so that's what I'm trying to.
yeah. So it hasn't been paid this year yet, but maybe they bill us or maybe he
Well, I'm
doesn't
also
know.
thinking of
Mhm.
the following year,
Mhm.
so, because next year's 18.
Mhm.
So does this run out
I would say so.
July of next year?
I would think so.
So does that mean that a new payment is due in July, a brand new contract?
I would think so.
Which means we don't know what
Correct.
we don't know what the budget then.
I would assume so because it runs out in 18 or maybe it
Or
covers.
does the amount that we're doing, that we're gonna pay in May, gonna do that whole summer?
I would think so. Maybe that's what it
In which case, then we
should.
have a whole nother.
Then we'll get another contract in.
And then we have all winter to do
Yep.
a contract. I don't.
I would,
We
looks like,
probably ought to call to clarify, because I don't
Yeah.
know. You understand what I'm asking?
Yeah. it looks like we wrote this contract. Oh, maybe, I don't know. We'll have to have,
There was an addendum to the agreement, because you have the agreement.
Yeah.
And the addendum was just basically split it out to make it monthly payments.
Yep.
I mean, annual
yearly,
payments,
yeah.
instead of every 2 years, but. Because
Unless
then
the-
what we're appropriating really is gonna be for the following, is gonna be for 19. May of 19, because we've already budgeted for May
Mm-hmm.
is the current budget. May of 18 is the current budget.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Or do they, yeah, I don't know, because it says 2/18, so I assume it's July. Doesn't say that, but that's when they entered into it, does it?
So I'm assuming that the payment that we have
Mhm.
now is for next summer.
Mhm.
That's what we paid in
Mhm.
May.
Yeah, maybe Jenny should check on this.
So I think we need to, that's why I'm saying I don't like the way this was written, because it doesn't really tell you the time, what the payment is covering.
Mm-hmm. So in 14, we signed it in July. Mm. Mm.
And Central Maine signed this addendum in February 5th of 15.
Yeah.
For the May
Mhm.
payment.
Yep.
that was the four payments, so that's 15, 16, 17, so 15, 16, 17, 18, right?
Yeah.
That's 4 years.
Yep.
So my guess is that this May payment is the end, so we're actually budgeting for the following, which we don't have an agreement yet. So we need to
Yeah, we
look,
need to
we need to
know.
look to get an agreement before, hopefully they'll just,
Right,
they'll do the same amount.
I would think so.
So we need to verify, but then I think we need to do a new contract. We have this Weston Davis, I can always call him to find out.
Yeah.
He's the manager of that,
Please stay there.
if you stay there.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
So I put on my thing, I want to verify that the May payment is indeed for the summer of 2018.
because we haven't made one this year.
Right. So that way,
But-
at least we know that that's already covered, and then we need a new contract, so we do it for 2019.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yep,
Did he give us CMP here somewhere?
yeah, there's CMP, current year and then last year. That would have been in the stuff I gave you, not the stuff he gave you, so it's probably in that pile that you have, I assume.
Oh, maybe I have a note, price conservation.
It would be one I gave you. Well, I think I did.
Appeals, CEO.
Yeah, it's in that pile. Yep, there it is.
I mean, it's kind of easy when it's just, it is what it is. It's just-
Absolutely. And maybe it is gonna stay what it is, I don't know.
We'll try, I mean. Alright, so next one on the list is
CEO.
codes and land use, so CEO. Fun. CEO. So the question, based on how we're doing like a brand new department, how do you wanna, do you want to do it as one department, but if we have training, we could have training, a line item for training for CEO, another line item training for Conservation Commission, another line training for Appeals Board, rather than lump them all in together in one training? Or do we wanna break it apart? I don't see the need to break it apart into four separate sub-departments. I mean, it's
So
minor.
are we gonna, have you talked to Budget Committee? Have they met since, I know,
Yeah, when they scheduled, they agreed.
so
they were
they,
fine with this.
putting all of this together?
Yep. Yep.
But is it gonna be like separate though?
Well, I mean, it's just like any department, you see the lines, I just don't see why.
Well, are we gonna break the lines out within the budget? Do you know what I mean? Or, like
Well-
how elections is under general government, but it has its own thing?
It's a sub-department, right, that's
Yes.
what I'm saying is,
Okay.
they didn't,
They don't.
it wasn't specified, what I'm saying is that if you can break it apart,
Mhm.
you can still move money back and forth across those sub-departments.
Mhm.
I'm not sure the need to have four sub-departments under this.
Well, my only concern would be I wouldn't want, say there's extra money, I would wanna make sure that planning board has their money and that someone else doesn't take it, I guess.
Well, but supplies, for
Supplies,
example,
yeah,
they use the common supplies.
Absolutely.
So so for example, under salaries.
Mhm.
So you have the 4 departments, under salaries or under wages, however you wanna put it.
Mhm.
You really have 2.
Mhm.
You have the code enforcement officer,
Mhm.
and you have clerk, and you can just do a clerical, which is basically the planning board clerk.
Well, yes, but is the planning board clerk doing planning board stuff, or is the planning board clerk gonna be the assistant deputy CEO too? Was that what?
No, not assistant deputy, I mean, no, I mean, that's not, but
Well, I know, I just didn't know.
if the clerk, and part of the reason is, again, she does some clerical stuff for codes now. If she has to do, in the appeals board training with Mary Costigan, there was talk about the appeals board really shouldn't be communicating with a person that's the appellant, the person that's asking for the appeal, because what happens
Well, I agree.
is invariably what happens is the person wants to know about their case.
I agree.
And so they shouldn't be talking. And so who does that communication and who does the clerical stuff, writing up the facts and findings for the appeals board? Again, planning board, the planning board clerk makes the perfect sense to do that because they're already doing the land use stuff. They're already familiar with it, rather than having Jenny do that.
So, are we making this a position, or where are we going with this? I guess that's what I want.
I don't know. I mean, I'm just saying is that it makes sense for her to do other, if needed, to do other land use type functions, clerical functions.
All right, so CEO, he's not doing his own stuff?
Yeah, he is.
Okay, so she shouldn't have to be doing.
She's still been helping him some as he gets used to it but I mean, understand it's been a mess, and so she's.
Well, I understand that.
So her hours have come down, but they're trying to.
Well, there's issues in there about overtime and whatever, but that's another issue. So So are we making the planning board clerk the appeals board clerk? Is that where we're going, or?
No, I think if you leave it, again, it's not where, I mean, it's whatever you guys want to do. I think it makes sense to make it more of a land use clerk. Which is the department clerk to cover department stuff. She's allotted, I think, 12 hours for planning board.
Yeah.
Is what's the current allotment.
And we're gonna leave it at that?
And for planning board, sure. I don't know whether you want to, again, we can have discussion whether that is enough hours, whether she needs more hours.
For the planning board?
Yeah.
I wouldn't know that. I mean.
So there's other things that don't get done. I mean, so we can have a discussion with Paul if you want about, but yes, it's a matter about how much money you have.
Right.
But I mean, all this E911 stuff really ought to be planning board, ought to be land use stuff. I mean,
I thought he was gonna do that.
He's gonna do it, but he's gotta get caught up.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm just saying, my only concern is if we're creating a position, if we're creating another position, I think it has to be posted. I don't think we can just give it to someone. Do you know what I mean? I guess I'm not sure where we're going.
I don't think we already have the position. A planning board clerk is already a position.
That's the only one we have. So now you're talking about adding other stuff to this. So to me, you're adding more and more. So I just don't know where we're going, I guess. That's
so if you already have a person and you want to give them more work, you have to post the position?
No, but you're saying CEO needs this, appeals board needs this.
No, CEO doesn't. I mean, CEO.
Okay, that's what I guess I'm not understanding.
I don't know. I don't think any of us really know what the CEO needs, if they even need any administrative support. Right now they do because it was a mess and it wasn't organized and they needed that.
I agree.
But once they're up and running and I don't know whether the workload is enough where he needs some additional administrative help or whether it's all he ought to be able to handle it all. We can't go based on the last 3 years.
I agree.
And if we did, he was way behind. He didn't get half the work done he should have.
Right.
So one would argue he needed help. But I don't know if that's because it was so busy or the time management skills weren't there. I don't know.
Absolutely.
So that's why I'm saying is in the winter, it's probably less time, so he probably doesn't need any help during the winter. In the summer, if it gets crazy because of the building or whatever, and again, one year may be different than another, if he needs some help getting some filing done and doing that, I don't see the issue why we can't have, again, Jen, who's the planning board clerk, put in a couple of hours to get him caught up and to get him, on the filing side. So he's not losing, if he's out doing a ton of inspections.
Yeah, but he's supposed to work 35 hours, right?
Yeah.
So he worked 41 last week.
I believe so, yeah.
Did he? I haven't seen the bill.
Yes, yes. So I guess that's just my concern. I don't want us to create a full-time position or whatever we're doing.
No, I'm not.
Because, I'm just saying.
No, I'm not looking at full-time, even close to full-time.
Because
all I'm saying is, because appeals board, we don't even know. Again, appeals board hardly meets. But when it does, could it use a couple of hours of her time to put in? That's what I'm talking about.
That's fine there.
That's fine there. I just didn't know where you were going.
No, I'm not going.
Confused.
No, I'm not going full-time. I'm just saying
But you cut her 10 hours, what, month ago? Didn't you cut?
We didn't cut. Well, I don't know. She went down. I think we said no more than a certain amount. I forget what it was.
Yeah, but now we're getting into overtime.
Well, she does a bunch on planning board had a bunch of stuff. That's why.
Okay, but planning board didn't pay the overtime. CEO did, and that's our danger zone. So that's what I'm saying.
Right. Well, it's still going to come.
Do you know what I mean? I understand, but we don't have the money in CEO. That's.
But we probably won't have the money in planning board. It's still going to come out of contingency.
Well, I'm just saying that. I'm not sure where we're going, so, that's all I'm saying. I don't know. I would think if he's getting, once he gets organized, he should be able to handle it, I would think. I would think.
I'm hoping. Correct. I am hoping.
So, an appeals board shouldn't be that much anyway, because we shouldn't be appealing.
Again, if once we're through a couple of these appeals, it shouldn't be very often. That is correct.
Absolutely. So.
All I'm saying is that when that does happen, it would be nice if they had a clerical person, and if it's an appeal that's a land use, which means that it may be subdivision, she's familiar with that versus Jenny really isn't familiar with that.
I agree.
So that's why. But again, I don't know, on the hours.
That's it. That's the question. I just don't want to we need this here and this here and this here, and then, we create a position that's more hours and.
No, I'm not looking at creating a position.
Or making a position so it's pretty much full-time or close to full-time, or because I would just think we would have to post that. That wouldn't be fair.
Did you see this here?
No, it's probably in my.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what I'm getting at is, we already paid Mike to go through all this. That's the second time that we pay for it. Mm-hmm. You follow me?
Right, but.
Mike went through that, he spent time. I went and took pictures and everything.
Okay.
That was a year and a half ago.
Okay.
Now we're going through the same thing. He's working on that project.
But that's because nothing ever got done.
Right, that's what I'm getting at. We're paying twice for.
Well, we are,
but whose fault?
That's not.
I mean, that's not. Whose fault is that?
Ours.
Well, no, it's. I mean, it never got done, so we can't not do it.
No, I know that. What I'm getting at, Mike spent time, telephone, letters, everything else, and nothing became of it. Now he's working on it. It looks better than what Mike had going.
Right, we're trying to do it. We're trying to do these things right and work through them. We got a bunch of these. We probably have 10 plus enforcement actions that we have to work our way through.
How about on Richardson Drive?
That's one of them. I mean, those are the ones that one's with the attorney. So I'm waiting for her. She's got to file court papers. No, I mean, it's.
What I'm getting at is everything's double.
A lot of the things that Mike was supposed to have done didn't happen. So yes, we're redoing all of those for basically. Yep.
Well, that one on Richardson Drive,
he
was working on it.
Yep.
But what can we do?
No, I know it, maybe I was just trying to clear my mind that,
No, because people
We're
are
paying.
complaining, because people are complaining, and it's, if we, hopefully if we do it right the first time, we're not paying a second
Right.
time for it. So that's, no, I don't see, I see it the most in a really busy time, 20 hours. So I'm not talking 40 hours, or 35 hours, or even 30. So
But if we
again,
do 20 hours in CEO
No, I don't want
and
it,
then
no.
12 here,
No, I'm not saying 20
So-
hours CEO.
well, I'm just,
I'm saying a combined 20 hours, 12 of which is already planning board.
right.
And, and again, I don't know whether the planning board needs more time. But, because again, if they're doing more shoreline zoning, which they didn't realize they were doing, that's more time. And that's partly why they've had 2 or 3 shoreline zonings come before them. So that's partly why she spent all this, she's had extra time.
Okay, so back to this. So you want to put all this in one thing?
So,
I don't know.
because again, the money doesn't, it's not taking anybody else's money. Because the money can flow from one line to another anyways.
I get that, but so are we just gonna say this is CEO, Planning Board, Appeals Board, Conservation, and combine it all together? Is that what you're saying?
Codes and land use. Yeah, I call it codes and
So,
land use.
okay, just for example, under regular wages, we're gonna put all that stuff in that
Nope,
one
So that
number?
would be CEO. So you make
Okay.
that for CEO, just purely the CEO's wages.
Okay,
You could have clerical wages, whatever number, if that's only the 12 hours for planning, if that's all we want to budget, then that's all we do. So you can separate them out.
okay, so this is for July 1st, so don't you think by July 1st, we
Yeah.
should have our act together? I say all of us, you know what I mean, yeah, cause I just don't wanna see one wage line in anybody.
No, I'm just saying is that you can make the clerical wage line a separate line under wages. So you can see exactly what you're doing for that.
Now, we still have to have an assistant deputy, don't we?
We'd probably put a line there just so that when we go to some other town to cover or
Right.
whatever, yeah. So that's for coverage for vacation time and stuff.
Mhm.
So you have, those are the 3 lines that you'd use for salary. And it's clearly labeled. And again, what we budget for the clerical time is what we budget. If we only do 12, we only do 12. But understand, I'm not sure we've been doing a lot of stuff we haven't been doing on the codes and land and everything else. All these subdivision plans, they never got to E911. All those should have been, that never happened. I don't know whether there's slow time. The problem with the planning board is slow time is if you don't have a subdivision, it becomes slow. All of a sudden you get a bunch, now it becomes, so it's kind of hard to plan for that. No, so you can still, so what I'm saying is you do them by line item so you can still see the difference. And so, employee costs, so staff and development training. So payroll taxes, you can lump everybody together.
Right.
So that one, I don't need to separate those out. Travel expenses, you can separate those out if you want. Same thing as staff development and training. So you can do planning board training, appeals board training, conservation planning training, and
Well, I think that would be nice to know that.
so that way you can see each.
Right.
It makes it easier to budgeting as well. So you can, but again, if it's all within the same budget, supplies will be combined.
Yeah,
Because planning board is primarily paper,
right.
which we do in the office.
Yeah,
And even then it's, hard to figure out how much they actually use.
absolutely.
And so maybe we don't do paper, maybe it's just, other supplies that maybe they order.
Dues would be planning board dues for Southern Maine.
Yep. And each of those, we can leave it as dues, but you know exactly based on the expense line item, who they're for.
Absolutely.
I just think it's simpler to do it that way than to
I would do that
than to
as
break it
long
all.
as it's broken down because,
Yeah, no, the salaries, I think you can break that part out. That's the biggest thing. And training. It's the salaries and training. Make sure, because that way you don't say, hey, I wanna go to this training, and you're finding out that you're using somebody else's training.
Absolutely.
So I have no problem
Absolutely.
breaking apart the training, so that
Yeah.
everybody knows their own training budget.
Mhm.
Because I think that's all appeals board, all
Planning
they
board,
had.
planning board and appeals board, they do have a training.
Conservation had supplies,
Mm-hmm,
that was it, right?
yeah.
Oh, and outside services, I'm not even sure what that was.
Well, wasn't that?
That was a Facebook ad he did for the current year,
Yeah,
and it didn't use anything the previous year.
no,
So, I mean, that's easy to combine. Appeals, again, was training,
yeah,
and office supplies is easy to go in there.
yeah.
Advertising, again, we could, you know, we still need an advertising.
Advertising's ridiculous.
And that would be the same for planning board, so planning board would use the same line item, because they have to sometimes plan, you know, do advertising.
Wow. Did you see how much advertising was?
Mhm.
Does it say how much they have to do or where they have to do it, or? That's a lot. That's ridiculous. Wow.
Yeah, see, last year, Seacoast Media,
Wow, that's a lot. I mean, I don't know how long or whatever it says they have to do.
right. And that's the problem is that you have to put it in a paper,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you do.
so, and planning board has to do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
So theirs would go on the, so again, advertising, you could easily do the same.
Yeah.
So so if we do, so do you understand how, as far as a combined one, I mean, we could do it on a spreadsheet as well for the first year until it's, that way once it's in the system, that'll be there, but, so if we look at the CEOs, is that what you're on there?
Yeah.
So CEO, what I'm doing is I'm doing under the line items, I'm doing a U for unique.
Mm-hmm.
Catch my, and then C for common.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So in other words, unique means it's all by itself,
Mm-hmm.
and common means it will get lumped in with the other three.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the regular wages is unique under
Yeah.
the CEO that we're looking at,
Yeah.
and then let's talk about the number.
Absolutely.
So
What did
I don't
we-
even have that here.
What did we?
I gotta see what we said we were gonna pay him.
Well, we can look on a paper, but then we said other things. So
Right.
what did we say?
Let me. That's what I'm going to do right now. If we can find it, I should be able to find it. So I sent an email that had on it.
But he's at 35 hours, right?
Yeah.
Is that what we hired him at?
Yep. Here it is. So 22 after 6-month probationary period,
And then what else? Did we
and
say?
then
Is that
24
But he has to get certified first, right?
upon state certification within 1 year, we increase it to 24. So 22 to 24. so 6 months is, well, that's the start of the year, so we should at least plan for 22. For right now, I do 22 for 6 months and 24 for 6 months.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
He may be on 24 earlier than that.
Yeah.
Just because he's studying, I mean, so, you know, I mean, it's to his advantage because he gets a raise if he gets it quicker. He may actually be certified before then. I think I'd do 24 to start, otherwise we're gonna be short.
Okay.
Because this is June 1, I mean, this is July 1, so he may very well be
So we're gonna do 24.
He may very well be fully
At
certified by then.
35 hours,
At
right?
35 hours, yeah. So that comes out to 24 times 35 times 52. 24 times 52. That's 43,680.
Okay. So deputy,
yeah, I'm looking year to date. Yeah, leave it at 24. And that's unique. Does that make sense? Just leave it where
Yep.
it's at for the time being?
Yep.
That's just to cover his.
yeah,
We can't really go by this year because of.
Yep.
So then, travel expenses,
well, are we adding other stuff in here now, or are we not doing that now?
no, what I was gonna do is go through each of the 4
Okay.
budgets,
Okay.
do what's in common versus what's unique,
Okay.
and then we'll come up with numbers, and then I'll let Jordan combine them, all 4. Does that make sense? I think it's easier for us just to do one too.
Okay.
Travel expenses, I think that was short, that was low anyways, cause that's the reimbursement. That's a lot of the reimbursement for travel around town. And if you think about it, we were already almost halfway there. And we weren't even halfway through the year. The actual in 15 was 21, and 16 was 26.
But who was it? Was it
That was
these are
Brian.
all him?
Oh, no, that was Brian. Actually, I think he was 16. 15 might have been a combination, I don't know.
Yeah, he was 1466.
I'm leaning towards like 2,000 on that. I don't think 1,500 is enough
Okay.
if he's traveling around. Plus, I think that's gonna be, if he travels to training, won't that go into
Yeah.
that too?
Yep.
Do we wanna make travel expenses for the code unique?
Yes.
So I'm gonna put down codes and then a U. Staff development training. So when we do training, is that just for the training itself?
Yes.
Not for the travel, correct? The reimbursement goes under reimbursement,
I
right?
believe so.
Yeah.
I think so.
So this would be unique as well for codes. I don't think he has to pay much. I think most of the courses are free.
They are, unless he goes to, I know sometimes they have,
So I'd keep it at 300 for the time being. I think we can keep it.
okay, yep.
Payroll taxes is what it is.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be common for everybody.
Yep.
Office supplies, so that'll be common. How much do we just keep it at 300 for
Well, what
codes?
is that? Is that just like logbook CEO?
Well, the other thing is I don't, that would only be specific to him.
Yeah, no,
He did some business cards, I think were like 10 or $20. He did this week to hand out to the people with his phone number on it, so I mean, that would fall under that. You know, pens and paper he's gonna take from general government, so
absolutely.
he doesn't need a line item for that.
No, he does not.
Toner, ink for his printer, that would come out of his. He just bought some, so.
I guess, yeah.
Well, if he's got the separate one.
He does.
Nobody else is on there. That's one that's straight to him for photos and stuff. So,
Okay.
just trying to think of what else that nobody else would use. That just would be him. Yeah, and that's not reflected in that ink they just did is not reflected in the year-to-date number. Let's leave it at 300.
Okay.
You okay with that?
Yeah, is that common?
That's common, yeah.
Okay.
So in other words, we'll have office supplies, and then Jordan will add up for the 300 here plus if this office supplies and the other three, that will then get all. Books we do need, and we're gonna. Just trying to think. This is started. This isn't now. So this is. I leave it at 200, and we may.
Is this unique or is this gonna be common? I don't know the name.
No, I think it can be common.
Okay, what did we
Books for
say,
everybody.
200?
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It may end up being just him that has the line item, but I would leave it as common. I leave it at 200. We're changing to the 2015 code.
Yep.
It's probably going to have to happen in either January or February.
Okay.
We're going to the state is paying for the towns to get downloadable versions, so electronic versions, but not a printable one. And so, those are more expensive.
Yeah.
I think he right now is getting the building code one, the printable one, which is a 2-volume, which is like $200 right now. So he can study with it as well. I think we maybe are supposed to have them for people if they want to look at it.
So a copy if someone wants to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can look to see. We can try to slowly build it up. The problem is that we have ones in there for years that we never even were supposed to have. You only we're 15, and we'll probably be 15 for the next 10 years. So in other words, right now we're using 2009.
Okay.
So we've been using 2009 still. So we've got 2012s in there. We don't need 2012s. Because we're only enforcing the 2009. Those are the ones that the state adopted. So,
okay.
Let's leave 200.
Now, what about shirts? Are we doing the shirt thing again, or?
No. Screw that. No way.
Okay, well, I didn't.
No shirts.
No shirts. Well, nobody else that I know of does
No,
that, but.
No, I was against that
Okay.
from day one.
All right.
Or magnets, or car magnets. They also did that.
Yeah, we did.
Slap big magnets on the side of it.
Yeah.
So, yep. So that's that. Phone is a stipend, I believe. And so we haven't had to pay that so far. So we were paying Mike a phone stipend.
Right. Jordan's back. Did you
Oh.
want to ask him something? I don't recall. What was it? CMP or something? Or
Yeah. We also needed. We can read on those.
okay.
We don't need them right
All
now.
right. So the stipend.
So that's going to be the same because we're going to be paying the stipend to the new CEO. We're not doing it right now because we actually probably have to start paying it. 300 is what's this stipend? Is it 25 up? Hey Jordan, what's the stipend?
For a phone.
Smartphone is 35.
What does it matter? Why can't this phone stipend be the phone stipend? I mean, whether you have a smartphone or a different phone, what does it matter?
Hey, Jordan. Phone stipend, do you know how they came about with it?
Let me see if I think I have a contract on here, I'll bring it in a second.
Well, what is the what does it matter?
Well, I think what he was.
Does he have to have a smartphone?
Well, I think the issue came up. The smartphone was if you needed a phone that had internet on it. So that's why it was smart, because you had to get data. Versus.
I get the smart thing.
versus a flip phone, which is just purely the phone. So even if they had a smartphone, even if they had an iPhone, if all I need this for is to receive and make phone calls,
yeah,
then I would only be paid $25 because I don't need the data for anything.
Mm-hmm.
But arguably, I'm not sure who needs data in the field.
They might take pictures or something. I don't know, but
that's not data.
No,
you know
I know. So I agree.
So what's vital that you have to get on the internet at the scene? That you can't go back and either get Wi-Fi or I don't know.
Well, that's what I'd like to know.
So I mean,
he's investigating.
Arguably, I mean, unless I hear an argument, I could say phones is 25.
What did we?
Well, that's what I have to.
What we're saying is when we talked to him, what did we tell him? The CEO guy.
No, we didn't say anything.
Yeah, we did.
Oh, non-smart and 35 for a smartphone.
Does he have a smartphone?
Yeah, but it's what it's used for.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I mean, that's what we did say. 25 a month for non-smart.
Smart.
But, yeah. But I mean, that's whether you. So I would do 25, which is what Mike was getting, which is 25 times 12 is 300.
Okay.
I would do the same. I think I would do the same.
Okay.
Because he doesn't need. He can always come back here. He doesn't need to go.
These are what I have.
Thank you.
That's I don't have the actual contract. I don't know whose computer it's on. But those are the ones I've had. They were just a file that was in there.
Sure.
Do you have the policy?
He's in the restroom.
Did you just take off on him?
No, he said he didn't. He doesn't know what computer it's on. See, that was the issue.
There's a town of Lebanon cell phone stipend policy, March of 14.
Yeah. So where is that? What computer was it on?
This was Ben and Karen that did this.
Unless Jenny has it by any chance, but.
Well, it was estimated that the policy, what the cell phone policy,
Don't forget, Wednesday, 2:00.
I'm on it.
It's in my book.
I knew you wrote it down. I said to them, I go, Paul wrote it down. So, you know all the policies we've been writing and you've been writing and all the ordinances, where are they? What computer are they on? I'm just saying for further reference.
Anything that's official, I give it to Jenny.
Okay.
I don't keep.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? This
No,
seems to be a debacle because you don't know where anything is.
That's why I emailed her with a version, so she has it on her computer.
You don't have this policy somewhere, right? We don't know. She's going to look and see if she has it. But that's the issue. They're on wherever.
That's what, I don't know where they are.
Okay, that's fine.
But nobody's really, since I've started, most people, either if they had it, they decline to have it anymore, but nobody's really wanted it. Because everybody has a cell phone anyway, so why does it count?
Well, I agree. Yeah, it's not like you have to have one.
No.
I don't think.
The only one that really has to have one would be like the fire chief or like the road commissioner. They pretty much need to be available all the time.
Yeah.
But anybody here, do they really have to?
I agree.
I guess the dog officer maybe.
Oh,
well, animal control.
Yeah, because.
And codes, because he's out and about and.
Yeah.
There are some that are kind of, it's a customer service thing.
Yeah, if he wants to give out his number.
Highway as well. Now, why does Tommy get 35?
He had a smartphone, but he doesn't get it anymore.
He doesn't get it anymore. He doesn't want it. Yeah.
Okay.
He just said, like he said, he's like, I have a cell phone anyway, so why's the town paying for it?
Yeah.
And then this was a change for Mary.
Those are all old ways over there.
That's what he has.
Yeah, but I have two for Mary here.
Like I said, those were here when I got here.
Right.
I haven't changed her stipend since I got here.
But is she 35? She's 35.
She's 35, yeah.
So that means, because this was, before they only did 25 and they changed it to 15 to 35.
Well, it says something like the policy took effect in 2014, May of 2014.
Right.
So,
Well, this was, she signed it then, and then, but yeah, that's just, I just don't know.
I can check the policy.
Why
for
does
you.
it not surprise me?
Okay.
Why does it not surprise me?
Right.
That's what makes it hard, because you're trying to look up something and,
Yeah, I don't know.
but whatever.
Well, I think the thing is, you can't require somebody to have a phone
Mhm.
if they're not gonna.
Well, I agree, but you know, it's their own phone, so now they gotta give out
Well,
their
they
own
don't, yeah, but
number.
they don't have to, they could get a
No.
separate phone.
Well, they
And they
could,
get the stipend.
yeah,
I mean,
but
which
still,
is what.
Yeah.
Which they might as well get it,
Yeah.
just keep it on their phone and get it reimbursed even though they're not.
so he's the only one that would get a stipend on this one anyway, right? So that would be common,
Yeah, and
oh no, not common, unique.
I mean, again, we can always change the policy.
Mhm.
But I'd be much more in favor of $25 for
Mhm.
for a stipend and leave it at that,
Mhm.
period.
Mhm.
A cell phone stipend at $25.
Mhm.
And just,
Mhm.
yeah, I just think that makes, instead of this smart or non-smart, just
I agree,
$25 and,
right,
you know,
okay. Alright, so that's the only thing under phones is that, cause the
Yep.
phone's here.
that's correct.
Repair.
So phones would, in this department, I would make that common, but that's gonna be the only one anyways.
Yeah,
Because
Okay.
nobody else gets a phone stipend.
Yep.
In the other.
Mhm.
Repair and maintenance, nothing, there was nothing there.
Yep.
Office equipment. He had 500, got a brand new printer, so he doesn't need that, the computer is fine. So
Yeah,
I don't see the need for,
especially not this year, I wouldn't
for
think.
this year.
I mean, if something happens, something happens. And,
Do we take it to zero or do we just take it to, I'm thinking like 200, just to
okay,
have something there, just to,
is this unique or common?
no, that would be common. I make,
200?
because planning board might have.
Yeah.
Office equipment.
Mhm.
Technology would be, so that would be any kind of software, I would think.
Mhm.
Virus and stuff is all part of the town, so that's
Mhm.
not. I'm trying to think if there's any software that he would need.
I don't know if there's anything coming up for,
'Cause those are the only two things for technology that I would think that would,
Yeah.
that would fit there. Would either be some sort of software or, and hardware is gonna basically be under office equipment, it's not gonna
Right.
be under technology.
yeah.
So I'm thinking we zero out that line.
Yep.
Nothing.
Yep.
I mean, I'd still make it common, well.
I mean, cause really, anything like that would fall under the whole office.
I don't even
wouldn't it?
see software for anybody else, so, so then the next one is
Postage, and that's all here.
postage, which is now
Yeah.
we're using theirs, so that would be zero.
Printing,
So printing is gonna be
Like-
zero.
yeah,
Yeah, because I mean, toner for his print, or ink for his printer, I think we could put under office supplies.
Yep.
He doesn't have anything to print per se,
mhm,
to go to like Staples or
mhm,
to print or any, I don't know of anything.
Mhm.
Dues and subscriptions, I'd leave the same, I think. He did 380 the previous year.
dues to what though, what is it? International codes, that's 135,
ICC, right,
and then let's
and
go
I
back
think you
to
got Maine as well.
Yeah, cause he can join that group, whatever it is, which isn't a bad thing.
There was ICC within the previous year
Was main building.
yeah, MBOIA, yeah.
Yeah, okay. And the conference, that should have went somewhere else. That shouldn't have been there. So, yeah.
So actually that was, so it's 135 and 30, which is 165.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what this active membership is.
Well,
yet.
I don't know. Active, ICC active.
So that puts it at, let's just say 200.
Okay.
So that's what that covers at. So it's,
But that would be common, right?
so dues would be common, but for him,
200.
it would be 200.
Okay.
Does that work for him?
Mm-hmm. How much is that, curiously?
Did it go down? Well, I mean, it didn't go down.
Oh, it might, well.
Not with pay.
Well.
It went from 38 to 43 and change, so.
Yeah. I was just, yeah, but we could, you know.
I mean, we dropped a little bit, so it won't be
Right.
huge.
And as long as we, and I, you know, like when it comes near this time, we do a really good newsletter, like explaining all these budget items, you know, to really get it out there. Can you still have your newsletter at your office there? Are they gonna kick you out? I doubt they would. All right, no, that's good, I think.
They're gonna give us a soapbox.
Planning board, we wanna do that one, or?
Sure.
Hadn't Paul kind of done that? I don't know.
He did, but I don't know, we still didn't, I didn't know if he got, maybe he did get back. Did he get back to Jordan?
I thought he had.
Somebody said he got back to, I hadn't seen it.
Yes, I thought he had.
That's what Jordan, did Paul get back to you about sending board budget? That's not what
What are we doing now, planning board?
Planning board.
Yeah, we have some stuff.
Okay.
She is paid. You know how much she's paid?
What's in the paper somewhere? That's it. For planning board.
Yeah, she's paid 12.
For planning board, right? Oh, you can keep those. I don't want you to just leave, no, okay, leave them here. Just remove them. Jordan. Oh, never mind, I'll ask you later, never mind. No. CMP payment in May. Did they usually bill you? Because we didn't pay it in 7, did we?
No, I had to call last year, but I think I'm just gonna pay it.
So you had to call them?
Yeah, they never sent me a bill.
No, because in the thing it says we pay it, it's supposed to be paid in May, but I wondered, did they send a bill? Did they say anything, or you're
I
supposed
paid
to?
it in May last year too.
Yeah, you did.
But I might just send it early and it's done, or maybe what.
Well, I mean, I don't know, because it's for this budget year, it hasn't been paid yet, in this budget, right?
Yeah, but
Oh, but, I don't know, okay.
I paid it in May of last year, so I
Okay.
don't pay it in May of this year. But I had to call.
Yeah, well, that's why I
They
wondered.
don't bill
Yeah, well, I mean, we're gonna have to talk to him about a new contract as well.
for next year, yeah.
Oh, yeah, you did pay it in May.
So,
Didn't I?
You did. Very good, George. Okay, so this is what he put. Okay, so he put,
so he's putting a 3% increase,
mhm,
is what he did.
mhm.
Which is that's in that number.
7.
She's 12 now.
Okay.
And I have a hard time that she's part-time,
Mhm.
has been in this office longer than anybody else, and she's the lowest paid.
Well,
I mean, Kathy gets paid 15.
well, I know, but I totally understand where you're going. You know.
And she's been here 11 years.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a hard time with her only at $12 an hour.
Okay, when was the last time she got a raise? I mean, I don't know.
We gave her a little bit more for codes.
Yes.
Right. But I mean, she has a lot of knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because of all the land stuff and all the subdivision stuff. I mean, if you think about the knowledge she brings to the table, because you have your whole planning board committee has only been in existence for two years.
Right.
Nobody has a longer tenure than
Mm-hmm.
2 years on the whole planning board.
Mm-hmm.
So when there's questions come up about, a subdivision from 5 years ago, 8 years ago, she knows. Nobody else knows.
Mm-hmm.
So I just.
Okay, so what are you proposing?
I'm thinking we should at least pay her 15. That's what Kathy gets. I mean, Kathy's part-time too. I mean,
but there's difference and there's different training and
Well, there's different jobs.
Absolutely.
But I mean, I'm not trying to say one's harder than the other. If anything, land use and all this subdivision stuff there's a lot of rules that it's not just doing data entry into a computer. So,
are we gonna look into her getting training for some of this stuff too?
If there's training that she can do, I don't see why. That should be Paul, as far as if there's training that she can go to. I mean,
right.
I don't know. Is there training? I mean, can she be used for that other position for the code guy when he's on vacation?
No.
Could she actually? I mean, no.
No. Well,
she can't go and do inspections.
And she can't issue permits. I mean,
right.
She
doesn't have that training.
No. I mean,
but does she sit and do the office hours while he's gone? I mean, she may not, but and then we hire a third party, or whether it be Ken Paul or Brian or whatever.
What are we talking? See, this is where
I don't know.
I mean, if it's advertised well in advance, that he's going to be on vacation, and then because she can't, or not anybody, whoever's going to do that can't unless they're certified. They can't do permits.
Right.
They can't do inspections, so they can answer the phone.
But they can answer the phone. They can take messages. They can help people with they can't sign off on anything, but again, she knows enough about code that she can say, hey, you need to fill this out, or hey, you need to do this, or hey, this is the form, or.
What? Yeah, I would. Yeah, but she's also planning board.
Yeah.
So planning board and codes.
There's no conflict.
Okay.
Where's the conflict?
Well.
Because she's not planning board. She doesn't vote. She's not planning board.
Okay. Because when we had someone else do it, they were the chairman of the planning board, and they're filling in.
No, that's the chairman of the planning board.
Right.
She's the clerk. She's not a voting member.
Correct.
Chairman's a voting member.
Correct.
So that's totally different.
So yes, I wouldn't want her to, or whoever, to give any advice that they shouldn't give. Like you should be doing this and doing that, because sometimes, they're not qualified to give that information. For code enforcement.
But she can't. Obviously, I think you ought to.
Well, no. But do you know what I mean? You got to be careful what kind of advice or.
Well, she can say you need to fill out. You need to do a shoreline zoning permit, or you need to fill out this building permit, or you need to do this, or I mean that's stuff she can do.
Well, just make sure you tell her.
Well, no, I mean, because I remember that when it came to planning board or CEO, we had to be very careful what we said when they weren't here. It was like, don't be saying more than you should be saying. And it was like, okay, You know, that's all I'm saying. I wouldn't wanna get,
Right.
Well, what I'm getting at is, when she was working at the transfer station, she gave a lot of advice.
remember what we.
That's all I've got to say.
No, I don't think she can be the deputy CEO or any of I don't think she can fill in. I think if we advertise it enough, and if he's got people in
And
transit.
we have nobody here for a week or for 2 weeks?
I just, you know, I don't know. I probably gotta think about this. Cause I'm just concerned about, again, where this is going. I'm, you
I
know.
don't understand.
Well, you know, where is this going? Now we gotta figure this hours in and.
No, but we had that was already a line item. So it all depends on who fills it. So you need to have an assistant to fill in when that person's either sick.
Well, a sick, we can go
Okay.
a day without help, I would think.
Again, if they're not qualified, they can't obviously do an inspection or anything else, or if they're on vacation, they do get 2 weeks of vacation, so what do we do?
So what are you proposing? I guess you just need to say what it is you want.
I'm not proposing anything. I'm just saying is that we need to, we already had it one time when Mike was gone and people had inspections, and granted, it didn't happen, it didn't get done correctly. But my point is, we still have to, they're still gonna be on vacation. Do we just, the office is vacant and the messages just pile up, and so now people can't leave a voicemail because the mailbox is full, and so now it goes out to the front? I mean, what do we?
I don't know. I don't know.
So we hire somebody from outside, from
I
another
didn't
town
say
to
to
come
hire
in to-
anybody. I wasn't talking about hiring anybody. I'm not saying that. So now we're gonna budget 2 weeks a year for a deputy CEO,
Well,
or
it's
are we
whatever-
not
no,
gonna
it's
do?
whatever was on this CEO that we already did.
Well, I thought that was to hire someone to cover permits, inspections, if that stuff. I didn't realize that was
Well,
going
why
to.
do we have to hire somebody for that if it's planned to?
I propose what you want to propose, and I'll let you know how I feel. I guess
I'm lost. I guess.
Well, I think I'm lost too. I thought the deputy CEO was to have someone, if it's necessary, while this person's gone, to do inspections and do permits.
So then are we hiring somebody, but you just said if he's on vacation, if we do it correctly and if he notifies, then we don't need to hire somebody.
Well, obviously, it depends when we're doing it and what's going on, obviously. I don't know. I don't know. I have to think about this.
Well, I look at that line as covering whether it just.
So
be
this is for
office hours,
clerical or
No.
a deputy?
just covering while he's gone. If it's clerical.
Would that
then
be during normal office hours or no? Okay.
No, that's not like the assistant or the clerical for CEO, no.
Mhm.
That's to cover, that line is to cover when he's gone.
But not during regular office hours. That's what I'm asking.
Well, if he's gone, if he's gone for a week,
Mhm.
and you want somebody to be here from 5 to 7 on Thursday nights, because that tends to be when people want to come in,
Mhm.
just so that they can have a person to speak to or drop something off for the code when he gets back from vacation. Or if you want somebody to come in like an hour on Monday and an hour on Wednesday or whatever, just to answer, just to get off, to take voicemails, and then maybe return some phone calls and say, hey, the code enforcement's out this week, he'll get back to you on Monday. That kind of stuff would go under that same line. If there's a bunch of inspections that have to be done and we need to hire Brian from Kenny Bunk or Ken Paul from whatever, then that comes out of that line as well. That's how I look at that line. Just for coverage.
Well, then it's probably too high then. If we're gonna.
Again, I don't know. I mean, that's what I look at that line for.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you clarified that because I didn't think that's what you meant, but that's okay. I'll just make a note of that that's for.
It's coverage when he's out. So it's not
Whether
additional,
that's
it's not
a
additional,
clerical person or it's a CEO.
Yes.
Okay, well, I wasn't clear with that.
Guess what? CEO?
whether that's clerical or somebody inspecting.
Whether it's someone coming and checking the messages
And
and
if you
answering the
don't-
phone, or it's a CEO.
And if you don't need inspections, if he can do it right so that maybe there's this one inspection he can't get away because they gotta do this before they do this and it has to be done this day when he's gone. Then you hire a third party guy to come in and do that. No? I mean,
I don't know, that's food for thought, I guess. Okay. All right, so let's go back to the planning board wages. So how much is this for? I mean, how many hours is this
so I
7,500?
believe it was budgeted for 12 hours is what I was told.
Okay.
Whether the math works out, I have no idea.
Okay, well, I didn't know.
I was told it's for 12 hours. So what's 12 times? I heard, what is her current? Her current is 12. It's 144 times 52.
144 times, yeah, 7488, so yeah, that's what that's for. Now,
Now
did
Paul on his sheet's asking for a 3% increase.
But is that because of more work he thought, or was that?
No, I think that's a raise. I think he's trying to give her a raise.
Okay. How much of a raise? Do we know what that was?
Well, 3%, so I think he's just trying to. There's 3% on 12 isn't even a buck.
No. That's not a buck, no. It's like 40 cents or 30 something. Should we ask him what his thought was, or do you think we should just do it, or what?
I mean, I don't think he's gonna say, I don't think she should be paid that much. I don't think he's gonna say that. I just. Taking the person out of the picture, whoever it is, I'm just saying, is having somebody that's been here for 11 years, that's part-time, and they're getting paid the lowest out of anybody, all the people in this office, I don't think is right. When another part-time employee in the office is getting paid $15 an hour.
But the jobs are also different. And I'm not saying the knowledge-wise, I'm not saying that,
Right, but they're both clerical positions, correct?
I wouldn't call working out there a clerical position. Personally, I wouldn't. I mean, you're doing motor vehicles, you're doing vitals. It's not, it takes a long time to learn that position, and there's training you have to go to. It's not like, I don't call that clerical. But I understand because people that don't do those jobs, I don't call it clerical.
My point is it's still, you're entering stuff into the computer, correct?
Yes.
But you're saying that what she does is not.
I'm not saying that. Don't make it personal. That's not what I'm saying. That is.
Well, I'm just saying there's a ton of knowledge that goes into the land use stuff.
I
Into
totally
subdivision
understand where you're going. I hear you.
Yes, it's different. I totally agree that it's different. And I'm not
totally
trying to,
is different because you have to have,
I'm not sure there's training for her.
Well,
I'm not sure they even. So hers is more knowledge from having done it for so long. I'm not sure there's actually training for, planning board clerks. I mean, there's land use clerks.
Land use clerk is something totally different, and there is a lot of stuff for that,
Right, but if you take a look at a land use clerk, you go anywhere else where there's a land use clerk, and you look at what they're paid. They're paid pretty well.
But they also have to have, I believe, training and stuff. I believe there's certain things to call them a land use clerk, rather than, or a planner. No, I'm thinking of planner.
No, you're thinking about a planner.
I am. Sorry.
Yep. Just the clerks that are either helping out code enforcement. So again, you look at Kennebunk, they've got administrative people that help. All the code enforcement officers, they help the planning board. So they have, and they're paid extremely well because of the knowledge that they have to have. But again, I haven't seen, training for that.
Well, I would assume the planning board, when they have workshops for planning board and appeals board, I would assume I would think that would involve her too. I would think so. So throw it out there, whatever you want, and we'll just go from there, I guess.
Well, I mean, we're doing it, I mean, so you guys wanna agree or not agree, or I guess,
I don't know, I really wanna think about it, I'm not really sure. But we can put it in there, I mean, it depends.
what were the numbers on there? So that would be 9360,
9,000,
360 versus 7,500. Is 12 versus 15 is the difference. For 12 hours.
okay. I mean, budget committee's gonna get it before us anyway, so
No,
they're not.
we do this.
I thought Paul did this.
No, remember the department we're doing, so we're getting input from them, just like appeals. So we're
Okay.
giving this, that's why we're doing this now. Like,
Okay.
we're not gonna do fire. Fire's gonna go before the budget committee before it comes to us. But this one, we're actually presenting, cause it's a brand new department.
So that's for 12 hours per week.
Yep.
Okay,
So she's gonna work 12 hours a week.
for planning board.
That's what it's budgeted for. So just like it has been for the last year. Some weeks she works less, some weeks she works more. I don't know. I mean, it all depends on, the problem is you don't know, depending on what
Right.
subdivision comes in, whether it's more or less. Like this past week, I bet she probably worked more because they had 2 shoreline zoning things that they did. So, I don't know. I haven't seen payroll. That's just my guess. And we have plenty of time to come back to it, so we can revisit it. Travel expenses, I don't know.
Well, that's probably when they go to a class or something.
But they had they had 0 the previous year.
Yeah, they put 600, which I think
In
is.
16, they only spent $27.
Yeah.
Training, they've done a bit of training, although nothing this year.
Yeah, but that would be mileage. Travel expenses is
Well,
mileage.
that's probably because they thought that they had a bunch of new people they were gonna send to training, but I don't know if is that in the spring?
Yeah, when do they usually have it?
So they may not, I'm supposed to look on this. Yeah, he left it at 600. And he left the staff development the same as well.
Yeah, but I mean, I would rather put it somewhere else if it's needed, somewhere else. Planning boards, Board of Appeals. There was one in March. I mean, I think they have quite a few of them. They had one in April. See, they put them all over the state. So, but that would be traveling. I mean, I think 600 is way too much, personally. I mean, what is there, 6 people? 5 people, 6, 7 people, and I would hope they might carpool and go to the same one, but.
And again, if they go a couple hundred more, it's not like it's gonna be, not like we can't come up with the money if we also had to. So I mean, do you wanna drop it to 3?
Yeah, I would.
Do you wanna leave the 900 as is though?
I think that's too high. Isn't their class only like $60? I don't know what it is. Is it 60? I don't know. Yeah, we can leave it, I guess. What will we do in the expenses at 300? Is that combined?
So on here, yeah, so regular wages here is unique.
Mm-hmm.
Travel expenses is You say, where's codes? What is this? Yeah, travel expenses was unique,
Okay,
and development training was unique.
okay. All right, so we're gonna leave that at 900?
And then payroll taxes will be a function of whatever
Okay,
we decide for wages. That was me
okay.
paying foot tag.
Office supplies is,
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what they have stuff with maps and stuff that they use for like the subdivisions that I don't know what that might be. That they may want that would be different from the regular town stuff.
yeah,
So I think 150 is fine. I mean, they haven't really used it, but I think that's
is that common or?
yeah, that would be common. Why do we have phone?
Well, that's what I was wondering, because she used to get a stipend for her phone, but I don't think she does anymore. Yeah,
Yeah, twice
yeah, used to,
for 2 months, and then it
yeah,
went away.
then I think it's the
Oh, is
phone's
that
here.
for Paul? That might have been
No,
for Paul.
I think it was, didn't they have to use the phone in here? For planning board, cause I think this is the phone in the extension, that's what I think.
Yeah, so that goes away. So that's
Yeah.
0.
Office equipment,
Suppose I look at Paul's thing here, see what it says.
well, he had a phone reimbursement thing. Oh, he had 0 for that.
Oh, he's got books for 150.
MMA manuals, you can print those right online.
Right.
All you can, I mean, and Jenny or somebody, I mean, she should be able to do it.
Yep.
Just print it and you can get an updated manual.
Yep.
So,
Yeah, phone he put 0. Office equipment he had 0.
okay.
Uh,
Postage, the postage, aren't we gonna do it here? Cause she can do certifieds here too, right?
Yep.
So,
I mean, it's something to think about when we do postage for general government, though, just to increase it to cover some of these that aren't in there. So like this 300. I mean, I don't know whether. See, they never even used it. So yeah, that could be 0. Dues.
and that's to Southern Maine, which we don't know what it is, so.
Yeah, he goes dues.
What did he put, 1750?
1677.
But he put 1750.
2000 waiting December letter.
Yep.
So 1750, I think it's fine.
Yep. Advertising, that was a.
Advertising, he wanted to go up to 1500.
Yeah, because of everything they had to do, because of the hearings, they have to do
Right.
hearings, so.
Yep. I think we did advertising. That would be common.
Okay, what about dues and subscription?
And that's common.
Okay.
I mean, because we'll see them all under, when we look at expenses, we'll see which ones are which. That's all we have here. I think that's it, so other than the wage number. So we can revisit that.
So appeals? Did they go? How many people's on the appeals board? Is that 5? It should be 5.
So yeah, there should be 5 here.
Appeals board was 55, so it's probably 60. So,
Does anybody need animal control or not? You already have animal control, both of you? You already have animal control?
No, we don't.
That was the one you just handed us.
Oh, he didn't give us one though. Did Paul get one?
I thought everybody got a copy of, that was the one that Jordan gave us.
I thought he just gave it to you.
I had one from yesterday that was, they
Okay.
already gave me, so.
Did you have animal control?
No, wait,
Jordan.
yes.
You do? Did you give us 3 animal controls or just 2? Thank you. There's one. Well, I don't know.
So appeals,
Okay, appeals, yeah. Training, I think it's like $60, maybe it's more than that, I don't know.
I don't
So,
even know if we're gonna use it, so, I mean, let's just leave it at 200.
okay,
Is
is that common?
Yes, no, that's unique. So
Okay,
all training is unique.
okay.
Office supplies, I would, year to date, what did we get?
It says, PDC $15.
Southern Maine Planning,
Something. Would that be office supplies? Is that a book?
hey Jordan. Under appeals board, Southern Maine
PDC?
SMPDC.
What
What's
is that?
For 15?
For appeals board for 15? Oh, maybe. I don't know. Thank you.
$15?
Yeah.
Those 3 books you ordered, Chip, and you told me to charge 1, 2.
Oh, gotcha.
Those 1 day.
So those were books?
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. Yep. Yeah, so that's fine, I mean,
Yeah, okay.
um,
They have a new one every year.
no, that was this,
Yeah,
that was this one?
yes.
Which is all the legal stuff that they
Doesn't
put
he
together?
do one every year? Does that?
might.
Yeah, I
Goes
think
through
he
the-
does. I think he does.
Yep. I mean, it's probably better to put under books, but they didn't have a line item for books.
Yep, I think he does a new one every year. Postage they don't need, and then advertising. Holy crap.
And again, that's,
That was just for 2, right? And I don't foresee us having a lot of those anymore, hopefully, but still.
you wanna just say 500?
Yep.
And see how it goes this coming year. Hopefully if it goes down, then we can
Yeah.
bring that back down again.
Yep.
So all we really have, so office supplies, do we wanna have anything? Do you wanna leave it as 100 or?
No, we'll just put, we could do that one book, cause I think he does the book every year. I almost think he does.
Cause one went to the planning board too.
Yeah, appeals board, planning board, and I think
And then
CEO
us.
must have got one, I hope.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
So $60 for,
Mhm.
but again, that would just be under common, so, so do you wanna, so 15, but we're gonna change it to books.
Yep.
Planning already has books or don't, they don't, oh, actually, didn't he,
He wrote books, I don't know if he had books.
he didn't, where did
I think he,
yeah, but he had the manual down,
yep,
so, we can add, the line item for books, do you wanna do 15 or you wanna do like 50?
we can do 50.
Okay. I mean, it's all gonna get combined, but,
Yep.
but that way,
And is advertising unique or combined?
advertising is combined,
Alright,
so that's appeals, right?
yep.
And then
And conservation.
You still with us, Paul?
Alright, conservation supplies. Canopy and a folding table, okay.
Can't be on a phone table. I'm just trying to think of what they're gonna have for the current year. They really asked him, I should have asked him probably before we did this. If the town forest goes through, they may have stuff for that. Why don't we hold off on this?
Yep.
Let me reach out to John,
Yep, that's fine.
just to see if he has any ideas of.
Yep.
So that's the only thing I can think of, is that's the kind of a project that we're doing. And
Yeah,
I would
that'll
think,
be nice.
I would think it would pass, it shouldn't be that controversial, so
I would think so.
I don't know
Yeah,
if he's gonna want something for that. So, so that's that. So that should be it for there. So next we can work on the others.
on Wednesday.
We don't have, we don't have those today. Right?
Recreation, what are we doing? Recreation transfer library. What about the festival? Do we know anything about that?
We don't. John Paul was here, he was on the committee. He wanted to talk to us, and is it Melissa's here, is not gonna be able to do it, so we gotta figure out. We have to have a discussion about whether we want it private or public, but not this hybrid version, which is half private, half public.
I thought, what about talking about putting it under recreation? Remember we talked about that?
Yeah, I mean, I
don't know, I just,
yeah, because John Paul didn't want it to go away, this seems to be, you know, so.
well, that's
I
fine,
don't-
I agree, but, you know,
So I mean, my only thought is we probably ought to have a meeting, put it on the agenda, and try to get maybe Melissa here, get John Paul here.
because we looked at nobody was appointed for,
Right, for this
Yeah.
coming year, just to try to bang it, to figure out what, you know.
yeah, that's fine.
I mean, it's an easy budget, it's not really.
I mean, and maybe Georgie wouldn't mind taking that on too.
Right, and bring her in as well, and just
Yeah.
to try to figure out what,
Like, you know, put it under, it can be a separate thing, but, or whatever,
will
but,
be a line item, but yeah.
yeah, let her run with that.
Right. You know, and again, she can always put together a committee to do it for her, it's not like she does it all her. More or less like it's done already, so. Yeah, so the rest we can do on Wednesday.
Yep.
Probably the next two, right, including the ones for January 31st as well. Cemetery, summer camp, CIP's relief. At least get it started, we may not be able to finish them, but at least we can.
Yep.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Alright.
Work.
So. Alright,
It works for me.
I got nothing else.
So you're gonna meet with Mary today?
Yeah.
Okay, and then we can talk about that one on Wednesday maybe?
Yeah, I mean, I already kind of gave you the numbers, but in case she wants to change it or think something ought to be,
Okay. Okay.
It's mostly because she's never done it. It's always been the selectmen that have just told her what it is.
Yeah,
But-
make it.
I thought, I mean, she's the one who's out there, so. And I know the budget committee may have questions. Well, how much do you do, and this and that? So, I'd rather have her answer those questions. So.
It's the worst job in town.
Yeah, it's a thankless job.
It sure
Yeah,
is.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
You're lucky to have anybody that wants to do it.
Nope, I know. Yep.
Okay,
So,
awesome.
yeah, put up with crap all the time. Yep. Good. I hear you. It's worse than codes. It's worse than selectmen.
It is, if you can believe it.
Yeah, it is.
Awesome.
So 2:00 on Wednesday
2:00 on Wednesday.
for
I got it in my book.
You do, I saw it. Awesome. Okay.
I'll meet with Jordan to get all these numbers put in,
Okay.
and then we can like review, we can also review, then we can review the sheets that we just got done doing. I'll
Yes.
review them with the numbers to make sure they all match.
Awesome.
Does that make sense?
It does make sense.